Florida retirement is supposedly getting so expensive that some retirees are packing up and leaving the state. But then something strange happened. While everyone's busy fighting over the same famous beach towns, a handful of overlooked Florida communities are quietly offering lower housing costs, slower living, and something money can't easily buy anymore: peace and quiet. Today, we're uncovering 6 affordable retirement towns that somehow escaped the hype machine. One of them sits on land older than the Everglades. Another has retirees wondering why they ever paid premium prices somewhere else. Think you know where the bargains are? Maybe. But what nobody tells you is where the smart money is quietly moving. Wait until you see the town that took the #1 spot. Hit like if you'd rather keep an extra $1,000 than spend it on a zip code. Subscribe because bad retirement decisions are surprisingly expensive. Let's break it down. Number 6. Sebring, Florida. Imagine retiring in a town where million-dollar race cars scream around a track, while a guy named Bob quietly catches bass 5 minutes away. That's Sebring. At first glance, Sebring looks like a sleepy Central Florida town surrounded by lakes and orange groves. The median home price is still significantly below Florida's statewide average. The cost of living remains relatively affordable, and nearly a third of residents are over 65. But then things get weird. Sebring is home to the famous 12 Hours of Sebring endurance race, one of the oldest motorsport events in America. So while most retirement towns brag about pickleball courts, Sebring occasionally sounds like a Formula One fever dream. What nobody tells you is that Sebring's biggest advantage isn't affordability, it's simplicity. Less traffic, less noise, less pressure to keep up with people buying their third golf cart. And honestly, that's worth something. Florida has towns where crossing the street feels like negotiating with NASCAR. In Sebring, rush hour looks like 6 people politely waiting at a stoplight. And if you think Sebring is unexpectedly affordable, wait until you see the town that somehow made Florida Hills a thing. Number 5. Lake Wales, Florida. Lake Wales feels like Florida forgot to flatten this part of the map. Most people picture Florida: beaches, palm trees, and terrain so flat you could lose a quarter and watch it roll into another county. But Lake Wales sits on the ancient Lake Wales Ridge, one of the oldest landscapes in North America. Home prices remain below many popular retirement destinations, the cost of living is generally lower than Florida's larger metro areas, and residents enjoy access to dozens of lakes, parks, and nearby healthcare options. Here's the surprise: while some retirees pay a premium to live near crowds, Lake Wales offers nature, history, and breathing room without the inflated price tag. My favorite weird thing? Florida has actual hills here. Not mountains, not cliffs, just enough elevation to make Floridians act like they've discovered the Rockies. Every Florida town claims it's hidden. If I can find it on Google Maps in 4 seconds, it's not hidden. Lake Wales gets closer than most. Now picture this: a quiet morning, lake water reflecting the sunrise, birds making noise instead of traffic, and absolutely nobody trying to sell you a luxury condo. Would you trade beachfront living for lower costs and less traffic? Yes or no? Some Florida towns charge luxury prices for stress. Lake Wales delivers calm at a discount. But if you think finding hills in Florida is strange, wait until you see the next town, because its biggest advantage is something most retirees completely overlook. Number 4. Palatka, Florida. Palatka feels like the Florida that existed before Florida became a business model. Sitting along the St. Johns River, this old river town isn't flashy. It doesn't have luxury condos on every corner or golf communities named after birds. What it does have is affordability. Home prices remain well below Florida's state average, rents are lower than many retirement hotspots, and the overall cost of living stays manageable for people living on a fixed income. Healthcare access is decent, and outdoor lovers get fishing, boating, and riverfront views without paying waterfront city prices. Now let's be honest. Palatka isn't perfect. Crime rates run higher than many retirement communities, and job growth isn't exactly setting records. But here's the trade-off. Lower housing costs often mean your retirement budget stretches much further. It's kind of ironic. Some retirees spend a fortune moving somewhere peaceful, then spend half their day sitting in traffic. Palatka skips the traffic and keeps more money in your pocket. Every town says it's up and coming. At this point, half of America has supposedly been coming for 20 years. Palatka isn't trying to impress anybody, and weirdly, that's part of its charm. Imagine sitting on a riverfront bench at sunset. Boats drift by, the water glows orange, no packed highways, no tourist crowds, just a slower pace and a mortgage payment that doesn't feel like a hostage negotiation. And if you think finding value on a historic river is surprising, wait until you see the next town, because its biggest asset isn't the scenery, it's the sense of belonging. Number 3. Live Oak, Florida. Live Oak isn't the kind of place that sells retirement dreams. It sells something rarer, belonging. Tucked away in North Florida, Live Oak has home prices well below many of the state's retirement hotspots, a cost of living lower than the national average, and easy access to some of Florida's best springs, rivers, and outdoor recreation. Here's the catch. If you're looking for luxury shopping, nightlife, or 5 different sushi restaurants within walking distance, keep driving. But surprisingly, that's exactly why some retirees love it. Crime rates are moderate, traffic is almost non-existent, and daily life moves at a pace that feels human again. The town's economy is rooted in agriculture, healthcare, and local businesses, not endless tourism. It's kind of funny. People spend decades trying to escape the rat race, then move somewhere that recreates it with better weather. Florida developers will build a subdivision called Whispering Pines Estates and somehow fit 900 houses into it. Live Oak skips the marketing department and just gives you actual space. Imagine sitting on your porch at sunset. No traffic noise, no crowds, just crickets, trees, and the feeling that your blood pressure might finally send you a thank you card. And if you think finding peace and affordability is impressive, wait until you see the next town, because it proves one of Florida's oldest places might also be one of its smartest retirement bargains. Number 2. Inverness, Florida. Inverness might be the biggest retirement loophole in Florida. While everyone else is bidding up homes near the coast, Inverness quietly sits in Citrus County, offering lower housing costs, a cost of living below the national average, and access to lakes, parks, and one of Florida's best trail systems. Here's what surprised me. Inverness isn't trying to be the next trendy retirement destination. That's exactly why it works. Home prices remain far below many coastal retirement markets. Crime rates are generally lower than Florida's larger cities. Healthcare access is solid, and the 46-mile Withlacoochee State Trail gives retirees something many communities can't: room to move. It's almost unfair. Some people pay extra to live near stress. Inverness somehow charges less for peace and quiet. Why do some retirement communities act like walking to your mailbox counts as outdoor recreation? Inverness gives you actual trails, lakes, and nature. Revolutionary concept, I know. Remember those Florida hills back in Lake Wales? Well, Inverness decided retirees might actually want somewhere to bike after climbing them. Quick stat break. 46 miles of trail. That's either an incredible amenity or the longest guilt trip ever invented for skipping leg day. The real value here isn't just affordability, it's freedom. Freedom from traffic, freedom from crowds, freedom from wondering where your retirement budget disappeared. And if you think Inverness found the sweet spot between affordability and quality of life, wait until you see number 1, because this town hides in plain sight, and that's exactly its superpower. Number 1. Bartow, Florida. Bartow is the kind of town most people drive past on the way somewhere else. That's their mistake. Located between Tampa and Orlando, Bartow quietly offers something many Florida retirees are searching for: affordability without isolation. Home prices remain lower than many coastal markets, the cost of living is manageable, healthcare access is nearby, and crime rates generally compare favorably to many similarly sized Florida cities. Here's the twist. Bartow doesn't sell excitement, it sells practicality, and practicality is underrated. While some retirees are stretching budgets just to afford a famous zip code, Bartow lets people keep more of their money and still stay connected to major amenities. Somewhere in Florida, a developer is charging extra because a pond is called Lake Serenity. Bartow just has actual history and lower prices. Now picture it: tree-lined streets, historic buildings, a quiet evening walk, no tourist crowds, no constant noise, just enough town, without too much town. Maybe that's the secret. Retirement isn't about finding the most famous place. It's about finding the place that lets you enjoy retirement. Bartow may not be Florida's trendiest retirement town. Fortunately, your mortgage payment doesn't care about trends. Hit like if you'd rather have extra money than extra bragging rights. Subscribe because avoiding expensive retirement mistakes is basically a life hack with better weather.